On Monday, December 21, 2020, a quiet community in Aqua State, Nigeria, was shaken by terrifying screams. Over and over again, someone cried out, "Jesus!" The screams were loud, desperate, unsettling. Neighbors rushed toward the compound where the sound was coming from. Inside that compound was a church, the Parish of Living Faith Church, also known as Winners Chapel. When they knocked on the gate, the pastor came out. Calm, composed. They asked him what was happening. He told them he was praying. And because he was a man of God, they believed him. They walked away. But later that same day, something didn't sit right. The same pastor was seen carrying a bucket to fetch water. On the bucket were blood stains. On his clothes, more blood. When questioned, he gave an explanation. He said he had fallen from the ceiling of the church hall. That was why he screamed. That was why there was blood. To another neighbor, he told a slightly different story. This time claiming he fell while hanging a church banner. The explanation sounded reasonable enough. No one pressed further. No one imagined something far more sinister had happened. But inside that compound, a young man was already dead. His name was Gabriel Edward Bassi. He was just 23 years old. A final year civil engineering student. A son. A brother. A dreamer. The compound where the church operated belonged to his late mother. She had built it with hopes of starting a school. But after her passing in 2019, Gabriel and his younger brother partitioned the property and rented part of it to a church. The resident pastor assigned to the parish was Pastor Prince Emmanuel. At first, everything seemed normal. Then came the request. He asked to store church chairs inside Gabriel's apartment for security reasons. Gabriel agreed. Later, he gave the pastor a spare key to avoid being disturbed every Sunday. That decision would cost him his life. Soon after the pastor received the key, things began disappearing. A modem, wrappers belonging to their late mother, plates, cutlery, food items. Even a bag of rice vanished. When Gabriel changed the locks, the theft stopped. He reported the matter to the senior pastor. Tension grew. Then, on Friday, December 18, 2020, Gabriel was last seen alive. By December 26, when his brother returned home, the horrifying truth was discovered. Gabriel had been brutally murdered in his room. His body was decomposing. He had been attacked repeatedly, stabbed multiple times. He fought for his life. And the weapon? A missing chopping knife that belonged to their late mother. Blood stains were found in the church hall. On the church chest. Evidence of a failed cleanup. Suddenly, the screams of Jesus made sense. They were not prayers. They were cries of agony. The pastor's blood-stained bucket. Not from a fall, but from cleaning up a murder. Investigators found more incriminating evidence at the pastor's residence, including Gabriel's stolen notebook. They also discovered he had strangely removed church items and rearranged seating the very day of the killing. The evidence pointed in one direction. Pastor Prince Emmanuel was arrested. But the case hit obstacles. There were allegations of interference, accusations of institutional protection, claims that powerful connections were trying to derail justice. Public pressure mounted. The State House of Assembly intervened. Years passed. Finally, on February 19, 2026, the High Court of Aqua State delivered its verdict. Pastor Prince Emmanuel Omo was found guilty of murder. He was sentenced to death. Justice, though delayed, was served. But for Gabriel's family, justice could never replace a life. He was only 23. His mistake. Trusting the wrong person. This case raises difficult questions. Should religious institutions be held accountable for those they appoint? Should communities question authority more boldly? And how many warning signs do we ignore simply because someone wears a title? Sometimes evil doesn't look evil. Sometimes it wears a collar. And sometimes the loudest prayers are actually cries for help. Gabriel was only 23 years old. A son, a brother, a young man with dreams. His story is a painful reminder that evil can hide behind trust, behind titles, even behind a pulpit. If this story moved you, if it opened your eyes, then help us continue telling stories that matter. Subscribe to this channel for more in-depth true crime investigations, real-life justice stories, and cases that deserve to be remembered. Turn on your notification bell so you never miss an update. Because every story we tell is not just about crime. It's about truth. It's about accountability. And it's about giving victims a voice. Like, share this video, and join our growing community. Together, we shine light where others try to hide darkness. I see you in the next story.